Hi, I'm Dr. Jake Mann, and I'm going to talk to you about the direction that my research is taking. Since March 2023, I've decided to switch tact in the topic that I'm researching, and I'm now going to be looking at bile duct diseases. Until now, I have been focusing on metabolism, and specifically my work has been in the genetics of steatotic liver disease, previously called fatty liver disease, and insulin resistance, which is the process that leads to diabetes. This is what my PhD was in, and a lot of my work leading up to there had been in. But since March, I've decided I'm going to move over to a new field, relatively new field, still within liver disease, but now focusing on a specific different kind of liver disease, bile duct diseases, and the immunology of them, and that's how the white blood cells influence these processes. So what do I mean by bile duct diseases? So the bile ducts are tubes that drain the bile out of the liver. The liver is a big organ on the right hand side of your body, stretches a bit over to the middle, and it's important for loads of things, including digestion of food. The liver cells make a kind of juice called bile that drains down little channels inside the liver, down into these tubes, and that goes into the intestines. There's eventually one big tube that comes out of the liver into the intestines, but in the liver itself there's a network of thousands of these tiny tubes. It's very small bile ducts. There's a whole range of horrible conditions that can affect the bile ducts, all the way from the kind of microscopic level, at the level of the liver cells, down to the actual very big bile ducts that drain straight into the bowel. And these are horrible conditions. They cause people to become jaundiced, to get very itchy, they get very tired. In many cases, they get lots of inflammation and scarring in the liver that can lead to cirrhosis and needing a liver transplant. In children, there's one particular bile duct disease that urgently needs a cure, and that's biliary atresia. It's relatively rare, affecting about 100 children in the UK a year, but for those 100, it is a horrible condition. Shortly after birth, their bile ducts shrivel up, and the scarring and inflammation affects the rest of the liver. There's an operation to try and get the bile draining out the liver again, which works completely for some children, but still we know that most of those children will need a liver transplant at some point in their lives. So I'm interested in trying to understand how the liver responds, and particularly how the white blood cells in the liver respond when the bile ducts are damaged. The hypothesis is that there are some white blood cells that are helpful and some white blood cells that are harmful, and what determines the amount of inflammation and scarring is probably how these white blood cells talk to each other and the bile duct cells and the scar forming cells. Overall, my hope is that we can come up with a new kind of treatment, one that probably tackles the immune system, and that we could give to babies after they've had this operation, the Kasai, to help reduce the inflammation and reduce the risk of them needing a liver transplant later in their life. If you want to hear more about my research, links in the bio, and I've explained lots more on my blog, or just drop me an email.